Ariana Grande, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
You are the first 3-time guest on Shut Up Evan.
What?
Yeah, because we did that little Met Gala
For the
thing.
Leve.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm honored.
So very happy to have you.
Thank you for having me again.
There's a million things to talk about. I want to jump right in with this movie, Wicked for Good.
Yes.
I think the announcement of your casting came in November 2021. From start to finish, this journey has been about 4 years, which is such a long block of time.
Yeah.
And so I'm wondering, when you look back on the whole, we just were touching down on the press tour of film 1, which is like but a segment of this journey.
A blip.
Yeah. And then there are obviously the films themselves, right? There's the rehearsal process, there's the filming process, all of it. Now at this finish line, which it feels so, I imagine, it feels weird for me, it must feel weird for you to be able to talk about this experience retroactively for the first time. When you look at this, if you are able to zoom out on the whole of it, what has this done for you, not as a performer, not professionally, take that out of it, but Ariana?
Oh gosh. I guess it's so much, first of all. It's really emotional. Like, just being here, this is the final one. This is kind of like a moment that came so quickly and we didn't, anticipate. And it's, I don't feel the thing where I want to go back. Like, I don't think I need more time there being Glinda, I think that I'm very at peace with Glinda. But you're right, looking at it like this is really emotional. It's done so much for Ariana. It has totally rearranged everything about my relationship to creating, I didn't think I was going to make an album ever again when I left for London. That was kind of my secret, but I didn't think I was going to, obviously you can take the hat off and be not in character when you go home for the day, but you take the feelings home. And performing the act of Glinda, who's so sure of herself, and so, even when the decisions are hard, I think that kind of, I remember early in the process unpacking that a lot with my therapist because my brain really liked it. She had a connection to her gut that I think I kind of lost through trauma. It happens with trauma. That's okay. But our work is to kind of like reconnect that. And I think through the act of performing it and Glinda's certainty and Glinda's belief in herself totally ignited something, a strength in me that I missed, that I really needed. So I learned a lot from her as a character who learns so much over the course of these 2 films and has to look at herself in the mirror constantly and sort of peel away at the pieces of her that don't feel aligned. So I do think that I was kind of forced to do that alongside her. And also just from the people that I got to do this with, I learned so much. John, at the head of that, I don't have enough time. There are no words to describe what an incredible leader he is. And he's empathy personified, I've never seen someone with higher stakes on their, being placed on their being handle with such ease and grace and kindness and respect. And reminds me of my grandpa and how he ran his business, and it felt like that. I always respected my grandpa so much as like the number one person, and I feel like they are adjacent in that way.
I'm wondering about the idea of like the ensemble nature of working on a film versus when you're on tour, it's you. They are coming to see Ariana Grande perform. And with this is an ensemble. What was that like in terms of artistically to be a part of something where you are a piece of something?
That's the best part of it. Oh my God, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, please.
No, that was like the best part of it. Because not only are you're not telling your own story, first of all. I'm not using my own pain on screen. I'm using Glinda's. So there's that element. And then there's also part where like you're just a tiny piece of this puzzle and you're all serving it together. You're all serving the thing that's bigger than everybody, which is Wicked, and we all get to be a part of that. It's so beautiful. Whereas I do feel like when it comes to tour and music, it is so focused. You know, it's singularly about the artist, and I think that wears on my soul sometimes, especially because there's like the caricaturized version of me that is the artist, you know, and what the songs are about versus what people take them for versus perception and whatever. You know, it's nice to give the soul a break and to disappear into a different character, because I do feel like that's somewhat of a caricaturization. And it's like, yeah, not only do you get to take a break from your own stories and pain and songs and things and isms, but you get to create something beautiful with a beautiful group of people and serve this piece together while wearing someone else's clothes. Jason Robert Brown. Wearing someone else's clothes. Ugh, love that album.
So good.
So
That's
good.
the one with the Lilius White track at the end. People coming together, I think is the song.
I think so.
Yeah. You two, more stuff with the two of you together. Willing it into existence. Because we have your Still Hurting on YouTube. Craving Your See I'm Smiling.
Oh my goodness.
Just saying. Okay. Now, seems like that you had a different press strategy going into this film than last time.
Strategy. Well, sorry, go on. Wait, I feel like there's more to the question.
There is,
Okay.
but because it's like, never could you have imagined, or I don't think you could have imagined, maybe you could have, the amount of the intensity of this press run, the last go round. I mean, I think that you both created sort of a new paradigm with which a press tour can be, just because every effing thing that you two did became a thing.
Well, I wish that for some of the things that I still see come up that we could provide context. Like there are so many clips that you would understand if you were there and you felt like, first of all, I loved that experience. Like we had a really beautiful time. But with the second one, we've been filming. Like I've been filming here and she's been filming in London. So I'm wrapping Fockers on Halloween and I'm flying straight to Brazil. We're starting the press tour like 3 days later. It's not necessarily a strategy as much as it's logistically been a little difficult. But there's a little element of we did want to make it a little different this time, because I think the first time was so special and so unique, that we wanted to make it more about the fans this time. We spent so much time in chairs in a room answering gorgeous questions and having beautiful conversations with like the most thoughtful journalists and having really beautiful, wonderful moments. But we were thinking about it, and the fans really changed everything for us, and we were just kind of like, how can we make it more about the fans this time? And we had a discussion about doing a concert, because I said, we didn't sing on the first press tour. I said, Cynthia, we didn't sing anything until the Oscars. We never sang. Let's sing for them. Like, let's sing for the fans. So we used our week to put together this special with Chris Scott and with our incredible family, our Aussie family, Stephen Aremus and everyone, to do that for them. That's really what we wanted to give most of our effort to. And then we're going to be traveling around and doing the premieres. Of course, we're going to be doing press, but we're doing press.
We're doing press, honey.
Now.
This is the press.
But yeah, it's different. We've been in different places, and we wanted to make it fan focused as much as possible this time.
I also think the first go round, you're establishing the look and feel in the world of Wicked, which now we've had a year to luxuriate in. Mm-hmm. And so it's just different in the sense that you're no longer having to introduce these characters and introduce the world of this film. I
just wish you could be there for some of these moments, because like we mean the things that we say. Like, you know, that clip where we're speaking to that lovely woman, and we're like, you are the light of our day. Like, you really turned our, like, we meant that. It was really crazy, and I wish you had the context of what had happened a few minutes before. But she did. She changed our lives. Like, she changed our whole day. It was just so beautiful. We mean it. We mean what we say. I don't think anyone ever doubted the sincerity. I think people were just enamored by theater people.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is funny because the culture has been exposed to theater people before. I just watched the Lilith Fair documentary last night. Have you seen it yet?
Not yet.
Highly recommend. And one thing that Sarah McLachlan talks about is that with Lilith Fair, people weren't used to earnestness at the time, and they were dragged so much in the press when that fair first came around, and this tour of all of these iconic women on stage together, just doing the thing they loved. Yeah. And we look back on it now and we're like, oh my God, Erykah Badu, Queen Latifah, Sarah McLachlan, like Paula Cole, all these incredible, singers on the stage. But I think the world had a difficult time with earnestness.
Why? It scares people so much.
Yeah.
And I think that's really sad. I think the whole cringe, whatever, is just so unfair. I don't know. Maybe it's because PTSD or whatever, but I love so much. I'm so grateful to feel so much. We should be able to be happy and it not be corny or cringe or classified as something like that. Being passionate about something, loving people, being happy about something, being excited about something, that's the best. What? You want me to be sitting here numb? Been there. And I'll tell you from the other side, no. Do
you know what's great medicine for this?
What?
Being in the ensemble of a theater production.
Yes.
I feel like, when you're a townsperson or doing something in the ensemble.
Yes.
Because ensembles, unless it's like Evita, they tend not to be morose, right? In general, if you're in an ensemble, you're Music Man, right? You're there to cheer on the thing. And I feel like it gives you that sense of community and that sense of joy. And your role is to be part of something where you're just strictly celebratory and smiling and kicking and cheering. Everyone should be in an ensemble.
And yes, at least once. Because, it unlocks something. And I feel like to theater people, Cynthia and I didn't seem crazy.
No,
that's normal.
It was familiar.
That's normal.
Yeah. Again, to what you're getting at, I think it's less about the two of you and more, not to zoom out too much about it, but I think there's just an apathy around people and the idea that people salivate in finding moments where people are being genuine and being because they have less accessibility to that genuineness, when they see it on display, they react to it in such a way which has less to do with what they're seeing and more to do with themselves.
Yeah.
And because we exist in a society in which whenever a certain segment of people feel something, they feel the need to type.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's people getting out their own shit.
Totally.
Through the vehicle of the Wicked Press Store.
Right. Sure.
Yeah, of all places.
Yeah. I think that's also just the internet culture in general, I guess, But I invite all of the people to be earnest and let their feelings out and cry and be a person who can feel. It's a really big gift to feel. We're lucky we're alive.
We are lucky we're alive.
To be frank.
You talked about entering into this experience and saying maybe I'm done with music. And then in between these two films, we get an album and then more music, and now a tour is coming. Was there an instigating moment, or what happened in the process of making this film that allowed you to want to continue to make music?
I felt like just a genuine spark, of reconnection and inspiration and something. I mean, maybe I missed it. Maybe it's as simple as I missed it. But I do feel like you have to miss things in order to learn how to become better for them. And I think I learned so much. And then also I genuinely wanted to do it. It just felt like I couldn't not. It was an inspired moment and I had to write an album. And I had to do it. And they said, well, you have reshoots in January. And I said, great, that's fine. I'll finish it before then, or I'll finish it after. I'll get as much as I can done before, finish the reshoots in January or whatever it was. No, not the reshoots, the strike. And then we went back to finish the movie.
Oh, right.
That's how far away it was. We didn't even finish the movie, and I started Eternal Sunshine. And then we went back.
Because I remember when you were going back to
finish the movie.
And getting back in Glinda after all that time away from her, and you had to find her once again.
No, it was there. It was there. There was nothing to find. It was so strange. I was like, oh, I wonder if this will feel weird. And as soon as I got there, it was like, done. She was right there. It was wonderful. Thank God.
She was waiting.
Yeah, she was waiting in the wings. But no, yeah, what a crazy timeline. I think, yeah, I feel the same way about Eternal Sunshine as I do about doing this mini tour coming up, which is like something inside is saying I have to do it. And I'm grateful for that, because I don't think I would have said that about a tour forever ago. But, you know, I'm just being open and honest about how I feel about these things in real time and following the impulses creatively. You know, they just shout and then there we are, you know?
Yeah, well, we like that about you.
Thank you.
In July 2024, you stated on this podcast that you planned a, quote, mini sampling of shows to support the album. I believe there is, as of this recording, 41 dates for the tour.
Yes.
Talk to me about how the tour was conceived and how it has grown. And might I caveat by saying, thank goodness, to quote the film, that it has. People are very eager to get their hands on these tickets.
I'm very excited. I'm very grateful. And like also seeing the excitement has been so moving for me too. It's been like really emotional to see. How did it happen? Well, you and I mean, we would voice note and say, oh, it is the right thing. Oh, it's not the right thing yet. It is, it's not yet. I'm working on a version of it that could happen this, you know, this time frame, but that doesn't make sense. And, you know, eventually it just seemed like it had to happen. I think putting out the deluxe informed me that I had to do it, because I really felt like I'm going to be really sad if I don't sing this album live. I love this album and I need to sing it. And I think that would be a really special experience for me and my fans, and also how beautiful to like reimagine my relationship to touring in this baby step way. And not that, I mean, it probably won't happen for a long time again after this one, but you know, still, it'll heal something and it'll be really beautiful, the same way that this album has. I think it'll be a nice next step, and I think it'll be so fun to see the fans. So that's how it happened and why it happened. And I love that it's concise and it's a sampling. It's exactly what we discussed. I'm very grateful. I'm excited.
Is there a particular song that you're most excited to sing live for your fans?
Everything that is on the set list that I have in my, I've already made it. Yes, but I think it's a really strong set list. I'm proud. I'm grateful.
Can't wait. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of Sarah Jessica Parker's.
Yes.
I know you're a huge fan of Sarah Jessica Parker's. I was getting ready for today, and I wanted to have some people call in and
is that who it is?
And ask some questions.
I'm gonna die.
So
that's crazy.
I want to bring the icon Sarah Jessica Parker into the conversation. This is a little long-winded, she will admit, and a little multi-part, but here we go.
Oh my God.
Greetings, Ariana. It's Sarah Jessica. And I have a question. Well, I could have a million questions, but I will be disciplined and try to ask just one.
That's part one.
That's part one.
Oh, wait.
She's so extraordinarily gifted and has, at this point, and for quite a while, achieved an authority and, you know, a kind of control of her career. My question is, when she was little, and I think about myself and what I imagined for myself when I first thought to myself, and I understood in really vague and general terms, oh, I want to be an actor. I want to act and I want to sing, to the extent I understood what that meant. And I think now, oh, I couldn't have imagined this, or I couldn't have known this. And it's not the question that everybody asks me, which I don't like. You know, what advice would you give your younger self? I'd say I'd give myself no advice. Everything that happened, I'm really grateful for, because, you know, whether it's been painful or great or triumphant or incredibly disappointing, all has been probably good for me, even if I thought at the time it wasn't, at the most painful moments. But what did she imagine it would be when she said to a parent, a sibling, a coworker even at a young age. I want to be an actor. What did she think, and what has she come to understand what it means, and how has that, how radically different is it? Is that too complicated or weird? Let me know, and if not, I can ask her about books. No, I really have a second thing. You tell me. But you can make it better.
I love her so much.
There's something about, I mean, obviously, you and I are big voice memoirs. Yeah. When I look down at my phone and I see a long one from her,
yeah.
and it takes a while sometimes to get to the meat of the thought, and she'll be like, I'm sorry it's so long-winded, and I'm like, I'll go with you wherever.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Oh my goodness. I love her so much. What a thoughtful and gentle and caring question. I love her so. Sorry, that just totally shocked me. I can't believe she knows who I am.
It shocked me. Not that she knows who you are.
No, yes. But yeah, what a beautiful question. I mean, I guess I would say it's almost entirely different from what I thought it was going to be. You know, as a child, I am sure she feels similarly. But, you know, I was so focused on just art and singing and laughter and comedy and performing and acting, and all I really ever want. I'm a theater kid. I'm a nerd. I'm a writer. I like to make people laugh. I love to disappear into characters, and that's always been the thing that excites me the most. There is a whole different beast. There's a whole different thing that comes with this, and that I was sort of thrust into more so when my pop career sort of happened. The fame element is so peculiar and hard to navigate, especially as a person who, I feel everything. And I think that's my gift and sometimes my curse. But it's really weird. I don't think I was prepared for that part. You know, I love performing, and I always wanted to do it. I spent every single minute of my free time as a kid doing community theater, family theater, playing parts in different shows or writing songs in my room, learning how to use different musical gadgets and whatever. It was just, you know, I never thought about the part where, like, you're in a magazine or, like, you're on a red carpet, which, you know, I love fashion. It's become very lovely, and I love fashion. It's fun. And then, you know, promoting projects you really care about has actually become really fun for me. But that's taken me a long time to get there. Like, I think probably the first 10 years out, I really struggled with what comes with it. And yeah, I'm really proud of kind of the work that I have done to reclaim my relationship to my art and sort of put that piece of it in a box. So I don't think I was expecting the like success piece to feel so complicated, I guess. But I'm proud to be able to kind of put that in a box and still create. That took a lot of work and takes a lot of work. My work is not done. You know, we talk about it often, but it takes a lot of, like, spiritual discernment, you know, and, like, to kind of keep myself afloat and prioritize the things that matter. And, you know, I mentioned success or whatever, but success is happiness in the relationships that you create through art, you know. I know that both exist, but that it's interesting. I wasn't expecting that, the kind of the negative parts of it. As a kid, I never considered that. I just knew I wanted to share what I thought was my gift, you know, and perform. So it's very different than what I had imagined, but I'm proud of the ways that I have been able to take the little girl's hand who didn't know what was waiting on the other side and kind of, like, say, no, we're not going to, like, give up on this thing we love. We're going to figure out how to do it and be healthy. And we're still figuring it out, but, you know, I guess, is that what she asked?
Yes, and I Love that answer.
Okay.
I love that answer.
Yeah, okay.
Can I add to that too? It's like
Please,
you are
please.
someone who, and I love and admire this so much about you. I don't think it's so binary as there are people like this and there are people that aren't. But you are an artist who likes the process of making the art. Keep going.
No, it's okay. I'm going to try the other side. This one's
You
soggy.
think that will be better? You think that will be better on the flip side?
Oh, yeah, because this side can't get in
it's like
anymore because
mushy,
it's
yeah,
soggy. It's done. It has a
No,
hard out.
please. It's a hard
the
out.
straw has a hard out at whatever it is.
You like the process of creation. You like being in the studio. You like being in the rehearsal room. You like noodling over this project with John and Cynthia. You like that aspect of it. And when I say it's not binary, it doesn't mean those who don't are not good artists or that is the correct way to be an artist. But I think one thing about you, and I think this has been true of you for a long time, is how process oriented you are. And so whatever the outcome may be,
I love the process.
you gotta love the process.
I love the process of every kind of creating. I live for it.
And I think it can make, when you have that love of the process, I think it can make the outcome hold less weight, right? Because regardless of the outcome, you own the process.
Yes.
You have the process. How something is received or how people react to it, all of that, that's completely out of your hands in so many instances. But you get to own the process. No one can take the process from you. And when you love the process, it means that there's this part of creation that you will consistently get to have and you get to own. And it's yours.
Yeah.
And you love process.
I do love process.
I listened to a recent interview with Hayley Williams, and she talked about how coming up in this business, she didn't have a lot of mentors. And I'm wondering what your relationship with mentorship in both music and film has been.
Well, I'm very lucky that my idols have been very kind to me. I remember Madonna immediately was very kind. And it was like, I think she was one of the first people to reach out and like give me a warm welcome. And it was just really cool. And I was overwhelmed by it because I love her so much. And I felt kind of so grateful to have that welcome from her. And then of course Mariah, and then Beyoncé had me come visit a music video she was shooting, and I was just there in the corner. I was like, why am I here? And she was just, it was after I sang Tattooed Heart on the AMAs, I believe it was, and she invited me to set to visit her, and she just was being kind, and she just gave me a little bit of advice, and I asked, and she was so kind, and yeah, and even if I'm not super close, it was just a really kind thing for her to do that. But yeah, I feel like I had people that I really looked up to embrace me in a really kind way, and it made me feel safe.
What about becoming artistic equals with some of these people? I mean, you mentioned Mariah.
Not equals.
Okay, well, I can say equals. You don't have to say it. I'll say equals. But like you mentioned Mariah, Barbra Streisand, another one, for instance. These are
She
people.
was so kind to me too.
But it'd be one thing for
It's
her
so
to
surreal.
reach out and be like, so kind. But she's not just being so kind. She's also saying, I see in you such talent that I want to go talent to talent with you, jump on a track together. I can imagine that that's overwhelming, but when you're in the room actually getting to, we talked earlier, you love process, you love making art. You're in these instances getting to make art with artists who you admire. You're in the groove with them. It's not just, I love you, you're so great, blah, 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 which that's fun and that's meaningful too. But it's actually getting to like create together. What have those moments been like for you?
I guess I feel shy to talk about it because it's like I'm choked up hearing you remind me that is my reality, and it's just very meaningful. It's very, I cherish it. I'm very grateful, and it's just really cool. I remember the first time I worked with Mariah. When we got to set, she was like, oh, I love that harmony you did on this, and I added a harmony beneath it because I loved it. And I was like, I'm dead. It's just very surreal and special, and yeah, I feel so grateful again. It's just, I love the work that I'm able to do, and then to have your idols kind of embrace and encourage is really like wild.
Is there anyone on that list, and I'm sure it changes over time, but like when I say someone that you'd love to collaborate with in the future, is there someone that comes to mind? No can be an answer.
I don't know, because it depends on the project, it depends on the sound, it depends on the, you know. But I mean, of course, Imogen Heap is my number one favorite artist of all time. She's my number one. She's the reason I produce. She's the reason I like know how to work anything, and you know, downloaded softwares to learn how to produce music and record myself. And I love her. That moment would be really beautiful someday. But I support her in everything that she does. She's incredible. She has her Mimu gloves, and they're incredible. Have you ever seen them?
No.
They're amazing.
Do I need them?
I would love to know what you would do with them.
Wow.
That would be really fun. Well, you can technically program them to do anything. You can program them to do the lights in your house if you want. But they're gloves that are like a MIDI keyboard. So you can assign different things to different postures. Like if you want the point to be like you're turning a harmonizer on or off, it's like does that. You assign different postures to different things. So like if you want to grab a note, so you'd be like, and then you could grab it and it would continue the note if you're not singing, and you can speed it up and it'll be like, or like you can pan it left and right in the arena and like pan the sound, or like add a harmonizer, and it's bizarre. But she invented this technology, the Mimu gloves, and like forever ago, and they're so amazing. Like she's just a genius.
I mentioned Hayley Williams.
Yes.
She wanted to call in and ask you a question.
Oh my God, that's so cool. I'm screaming. I love her. She's incredible. Her voice is unbelievable.
Oh my God. And the purity.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Ariana. It's Hayley. I need to get out of the way really quickly that I loved Eternal Sunshine, and Supernatural was my favorite song. I listened to it on repeat in the car all the time when that record dropped. I just think you're a cool artist. I've really enjoyed watching you grow and change. I mean, you've untangled yourself from the Disney machine. You've proven yourself through your albums, and then you took a huge leap with Wicked. And from everything that I read about it, you really worked hard for that. That was like a goal that you set. And that just made it really fun to watch you achieve it. And your comedic timing is great. Like, I hope you do so many more movies, and I don't know, maybe you need to be in a Broadway show. I'm not sure. Whatever you want, you could do it. But I want to hear from you, like, what have each of those transitions felt like? What does it feel like for you when you're scared of the next step, or when you really, really want to achieve something for yourself or challenge yourself to something? You know, what are the voices in your head? Do you struggle with self-doubt? Do you like feel in your gut like you got it and you just got to get through the wobbly beginning of learning something new? I want to say, when I saw you in Wicked, I had this thought, and obviously outsider's perspective, so this is just from my vantage point. I thought, man, Ariana Grande is like really found herself. This feels like she is with her people. She is doing the thing that she's meant to do, and it's so connected to music still, but it's like we kind of get a whole new side of you through it. And I guess I'm in my own transitional moment in my career, trying to challenge myself and grow in new ways as an artist and just as a person. So yeah, I'd love to hear you talk about what are some more of your goals? What are the challenges that you face that are internal? What are the struggles you face that feel more like external and industry and all of that? Like, where do you want to go from here? Because you could really do anything. I mean, you have a fan base that is going to be there, but also, like, I think as someone who is maybe not technically your peer, I'm not really a pop artist, but someone that's been in this a long time like you have, I'm just really impressed, and I can't wait to see what you do next, and I want to know how your headspace is. Probably not like a great, super clear question, but hopefully it starts a conversation. Hope you guys have a great convo. Evan, thanks for asking me to do this, and Ariana, maybe I'll see you out there in the world somewhere.
I would love to see her out there in the world somewhere. What a beautiful... This is too much. I'm so emotional. Oh my God, that was so kind and generous and beautiful. I'm so moved by this question. What the hell? Oh my God. First of all, I love her so much. I love her so much. Second of all, what the hell did she ask?
I know.
I'm so sorry.
I got lost in her voice.
No, about the struggles and the monsters and the voice the scary voice and the thing. Yeah, of course. I think I'm really attracted to things that scare me a little bit. Like I said, like the idea of doing a tour that terrified me. I had and also the idea of chasing Wicked. It was also terrifying to me because I wanted it so much, but I really wanted to work to earn it. I love projects that scare the living hell out of me. You know, I was terrified to put my album out every time. But most recently, the original Eternal Sunshine and the deluxe, I hid with my best friends and I said, is this it? Is this the end? Like, I'm going into hiding, like I can never do this again. And, you know, that feeling is just like, it's beautiful because it means you're making something that is just, your heart is on your sleeve and you're vulnerable and you're going to grow from it. And someone somewhere will connect with it, you know? But I want to go back to the part, because she asked about the monsters in my head, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those. Yeah, I try to learn from them. That's something that I've spent a lot of time unpacking with my acting coach, Nancy, because they're really informative when you pay attention to your monsters and your fears and the voices who tell you, you know, that you can't or that it's not good enough or that it's not going to be right for whatever reason. There's always something to learn from those guys. But when it comes to showing up on set on a day when you have to get the work done and you need them to leave you alone, or when it comes time to walk into the audition, you have to kind of ask them to leave. And I think I've reached a place with my monsters where I appreciate them because I know that they're trying to protect me from disappointment, from more hurt, from more whatever, you know, but they're not productive for me as an artist. So I lovingly ask them, I have a name for them, and I lovingly ask them if they can just get me a coffee and come back in 15. And they do. I think that's like a big part of trauma work, actually, is like befriending those monsters and learning that like little things that you've developed along the way, little, you know, since I was a little girl, I had OCD, like all, you know, things are trying to protect you. And that lens is really helpful when it comes to those negative voices, because they're more likely to leave the room if you're asking them with kindness and appreciation for what they're doing for you, which is protecting you. So that is my answer to that. And then the last part was something about like, where are you going from here?
Mm-hmm.
I think I always want to be creating. I always want to be creative, but I think it's going to look very different. Moving forward, I'd like to be on stage. I want to do theater. I want to spend more time acting than I did the last 12 years of my career. I think that balance will be important for me because I have learned how much having both feels good for my soul. I have no idea.
You don't need to know.
I don't know what I've said.
But you don't need to know.
That was such a beautiful, long question, and I feel like I didn't answer.
You did, and you answered it thoughtfully. And what I love about that question coming from her is that I can't ask you that question because her proximity to the artistry and to the kind of life that only figures like you both get to lead, it creates there's an intimacy. I mean, like I said to her, I was like, it's just, I value her asking that question because it wouldn't be the same coming from me.
Well, I also feel that you know my answer as well.
But I like hearing you talk about the monsters.
I know. I think it's important to talk about our monsters.
I agree. We talked about musicians that you want to work with, some that I would like you to work with. There's an actor that wants to work with you, and I wanted to bring her into the conversation as our last guest.
Hey, Ari. It's Coolidge. How are you? I had a question for you. I was wondering if you would like to do
I know what she's going to say.
Would you like to do a buddy movie where you and I are on the run? We're on the lam and we're in deep trouble, and we have to do a lot of running. Just curious if you'd be interested in that.
I would love that.
All right. Call me sometime. Bye.
I would absolutely love that. How can we get that in motion?
I fully want to see that.
I would love that. Yes, call me too.
Great.
I love her so much. I knew it was going to be that.
I knew you knew it was going to be, because last time I had you on, we called her live, and
It was crazy.
it went off the rails.
I love it.
And then so she sent that to me. She said that she'd mentioned it to you before, and she was like, I don't know if it comes off as desperate for me to ask. And I said, well, it doesn't. I said, closed mouths don't get fed. But I also said, by us putting it into the ether, by her mentioning it, by you responding to it, it instigates perhaps someone out there to get some ball into motion. Because, you know, we say in jest, like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if the two of you were in like an action buddy cop whatever together?
I would love that.
But in actuality, like, I see box office gold there. So I hope that by mentioning it today, we can perhaps will it into being.
I think that's important.
Couple last topics. I just want to ask about fashion.
Yes.
You began working with Law once again.
Yes.
And we've seen quite a bit from this press tour. But I want to talk about what led you back to Law and what collaborating with him gives you. Not just the looks. Obviously, we see the looks, but I get the sense from knowing you both that this collaboration is more meaningful than just, you know, someone that shows you some clothes and says, wear this.
Absolutely. I mean, I love Law so much. We worked together for a really long time when we were young and, you know, sort of experiencing such so many firsts, you know, together. Or I feel like I was experiencing so many firsts with Law in my life. And, you know, I missed him so much. I feel like we speak the same language. And as a friend and as an artist, I respect him so much. And it just feels like coming home. Not only are the clothes, of course, such a treat, but just the company. We laugh. My mom comes sometimes. We like order room service. We hang out, and yeah, it's beautiful. It feels like family, you know. He was close with my grandparents. Like he knows my family, and yeah, it feels like a beautiful homecoming for us.
I mean, I know we are so excited to see you two back together. He has become his role on Drag Race has expanded.
Oh, yes.
And I say to him all the time, you know, he's now doing this Project Runway thing, and we get to see him more on Drag Race, and I'm just like...
I predict almost everything he's going to say on that show, by the way.
Amazing television that this man makes.
Yes.
And so on the subject of Drag Race, obviously people know that you are a super fan of the show. It's often a thing that you and I go back and forth about.
Yes.
If I were to task you, and I thought about this last night, and I was like, I don't even know how I would answer it, but...
Oh, God.
A Mount Rushmore of Drag Race, is that something you can do? And it's hard just because you can only choose 4, and there are so many viable, and it always feels like you're leaving someone out.
Evie Oddly.
Okay.
Is the first that comes to mind. This is so hard.
Yeah. By you not selecting them, it doesn't mean that they are inept.
No,
it's just,
they're royalty.
they're royalty.
Forever.
But it's just like a Mount Rushmore.
My personal.
Your personal Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. I think Evie, Jinx. Oh my God. This is the hardest question I've ever been asked ever. Not just today. Because Gottmik has to be there, but also so does Simone, and so does Violet, and so does Willow, and so does I Can't Do This.
So we'll expand, and it's a mountain, so I feel like we can there's more, we can chip away at more of the mountain.
I love all of the girls. They know.
They know, and they love you. Focker In-Law is coming out almost a year exactly to the day. There were obviously a lot of offers that came your way. What was it about this project for you that made you say this is the correct follow-up?
I dive into a script. As soon as I receive something, I read it, and I read it down. And I feel like I can always search for a reason why it doesn't make sense, or like find something that doesn't work, or da-da-da. And there will always be things that, you know, will have to be found or like evolve for the character when you get to know the character more, blah, 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 and so whatever. But it was the first thing that I read that I was just kind of like, I have to do it. Like, I love it. And I also love, obviously, I love Ben, and I love Mr. De Niro so much. I love Owen Wilson. I love everyone. I love the whole Focker's verse very much. Barbara, of course, everyone. Blythe. But when it comes to a franchise like that, it's so daunting to receive the fourth Fokker script. I know it's a wonderful big comedy, but it also has a really nice message, I think. And it's also so special that Ben is now the age that De Niro was in the first movie. So there's that generational trauma piece of projecting what happened to you onto your son, who is the new girlfriend, and is she or isn't she? And I love her. I love Olivia. She's very fun and very different. And we're having a really good time.
And it's evident, I mean, not just from my conversations with you, but just there seems to be a joy emanating from this set.
Yeah.
And I also think we're just eager to see the next stage of these characters' evolution. I mean, we watched Greg and crew from the very beginning.
I love Greg.
Love Greg. And I love you saying Mr. De Niro.
Mr. De Niro. I mean, it's so fun to see how they evolve. John Hamburg, our director, and he wrote it, is just, it's so funny. And I'm so excited for people to see it because I don't think that they could possibly predict what is coming. But I really love Greg. I love working with Ben, and I'm such a fan of his. I was so out of body the first few days. I was like, this is very surreal because it was very one-on-one. We have a lot of one-on-one stuff, and it's just a dream. I mean, he's so incredible, and I love ad-libbing with him and finding this weird relationship that we have. And Olivia's a little weird. Like, she's kind of weird. You'll see. But I'm really enjoying it, and I love everyone. And it's really fun.
Thank you so much for tuning into part 1. Please come back and join us for part 2 very soon, where we will get into all things Wicked, including spoilers.